and you're good.
So the other day, I was on my roof hanging Christmas lights, and I was really, really high above the neighborhood. Wolf was actually with me, and I started seeing the neighborhood in a totally different way. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the roof doing Christmas lights, but you start to see things differently, and even the fact that my property and my house and my space is kind of small, it just kind of. I realize it's in the midst of everything else. Like, you know, you're in your house and you're like, it's pretty spacious, it's good. But when you're outside and you're above, seeing the aerial view, you realize you're just in the middle of a whole bunch of other people that are thinking the same thing. And regardless of the fact that my house backs up to, some trees that makes it kind of private seeming, being on the roof made me see things in a totally different way. Maybe because I'm not as tall as Kirk or some of the other guys that have been up here. But I started to see things very differently. And then I had kind of this long train of thought. And it went from me starting to think about my place in the world, and then about all the different things that, that I've done that are maybe significant or insignificant. And then the fact that I'm just one of 7 billion people in the world now. And I think that God still made me to live and to dream and to fulfill a purpose, I think. So even though I'm small in this world, my question is, does God really listen to me and my desires and want to give me unique purpose to live out? Go ahead over to 1 Chronicles chapter 28. It's our text for today.
Come on, bro. Come on.
And right there at the end, it says, "Consider now," this is God speaking, "for the Lord has chosen you, Solomon, to build a house as the sanctuary. Be strong and do the work." And so we read here that it starts off with David bringing everyone in, all the different people from that lead thousands and hundreds and all these different, and he brings all these people in and shares this amazing plan that he has, of this dream that he's been having for so long, of, hey, I want to build a temple for the Ark of the Lord, which is really amazing when you think about it. He wants to build something so that God's Spirit can be, in a sacred sanctuary. And he has this amazing dream. And you think about David being in there, and at the very end, God's saying to him, "You're not going to do it." And God's saying, in fact, this awesome dream that you have, you're not going to do it because you're a warrior and you've shed blood.
Wow.
And so you think about David at this point. You think, what's going on in his mind? Well, okay, here I am, God, and I have this amazing dream for your kingdom. And I want to do great things because I want to please you. I want to be like you. I want my heart to be just like your heart. So God, I have this dream. And I want to do it. And he says, God, I've done all these things. I've followed your plan for me so far. I've been out. I've destroyed the armies. Even when I've been afraid, I know that you've been with me and I've done it. And God says, because you've done this thing in the past that I asked you to do, I'm not going to let you fulfill your dream.
Wow.
And you can imagine how David was feeling at that point. Feeling like, and not only can I not do it, but I'm going to give this to someone else. The exact thing that you had exact plans already drawn out of what you were going to do. So he didn't get to do what really would have been great for God's kingdom anyways. Why? Because he followed God's will from an earlier part of his life to kill the enemies of God. How unfair was that? Someone else got to fulfill his dream. Doesn't it feel like that happens to us a lot? Where we have great dreams for our life. Great dreams that I'm going to do great things and this is going to happen and God's going to really be pleased with this. And it just doesn't happen. And God shuts the door. And God shuts the door. And God shuts the door. Again and again and again. I grew up in the church. I grew up coming to church, wanting to be a disciple. But I had dreams, I think like all of us. I wanted to be in the full-time ministry. But I had a very specific plan. I wanted to lead some kind of a daytime ministry that that was more like arts media and music ministry.
Okay, good stuff.